Spence, you were over in Turkey. I could be mean-spirited about your hair, but I won't, for the IBA event. How was that?
Yeah, it was very good. Umar Kremlev put on a great event. IBA Pro Box 7 was the event, and
right.
yeah, it was very impressive. We had a lot of people over there. You know, the boxing stars turned out, the boxing royalty, if you like, turned out.
Terence Crawford was there, right?
Yeah, Terence Crawford was there. Derek Chisora was out there.
I saw
Tyson Fury was there. You know, it was the who's who of boxing, really. I think they put on a fantastic event. Jazza Dickens, pleased for him. He won the WBA interim super featherweight title. Put up a great performance. But yeah, as a whole, yeah, it was very, very impressive. The IBA are trying to make moves, trying to make their way, trying to connect, you know, the elite amateurs and the professionals, letting them box each other, giving the people the fights they want to make, and also bridging the gap between some of these pro fighters that can't get the opportunity, you know, from the Middle East and whatnot, and giving those the opportunity. So I like what they're doing. Okay. It's a big ask, but yeah, it's very good.
OK. Well, look, you mentioned him a moment ago, Tyson Fury. He had a few things to say while I was over. Let's have a little listen to what Tyson had to say.
If I was going to come back, I'd come back for Usyk. But I want a fair result in England.
Would he be the only fighter that you'd come back for?
That would be the one I want immediately. That would be the most fight that I'd want next.
In England? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. For sure.
Appreciate it.
I only want a fair fight. I don't want any favours. I want a fair fight and a fair result, which I believe and I know I didn't.
How did you score that second fight?
I thought I won it by 5 rounds. I've watched it literally 250 times. And each way, I never ever see it as a way for him to win. But I know they can do what they want. If they say it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday. I've always said I never give a anybody's opinion until it me life.
So, a few hours after this interview, we had a post from my mate Turkey Sheikh, which says, "The Gypsy King will be back. I've talked with him and I have his word to have him back in Riyadh season in 2026. We have a rabbit to hunt." And it was followed by a post from Tyson himself on Instagram 24 hours later saying, "April 18th, 2026, Wembley Stadium, the trilogy." What do you make of all that? I mean, he is talking nonsense about the outcomes of those fights, though, isn't he?
Absolutely. Look, there was only one victory in both of those fights. Yeah, they were good fights, but Oleksandr Usyk won them for me, and he won them quite comfortably. He's chasing the trilogy. You know, he wants to right the wrongs of those first 2 fights. That's the one that he says is going to get him motivated. I understand that. If Oleksandr Usyk comes through Daniel Dubois July the 19th, then he's beat Dubois twice, he's beat AJ twice, he's beat Fury twice. He's cleaned up that era. You go, if he wants to continue boxing,
what do you think?
Fury, the trilogy, it's a fight that could happen.
Yeah, I think it's...
Are you a Fury fan? You like him?
Yeah, I mean, he's done great. He's done great. He's turned his life around, and you know, to see where he come from, you know, with all that weight, losing it and becoming, you know.
What about his assessment of the fights? Do you think he was robbed by 5 rounds?
I think Usyk is a very bad man, and no, I think Usyk won both of those fights. They were good fights, and you know, I think he's promoting the idea of a third one by emphasising how close the fights were.
Let's hear the views of the omnipresent Derek Chisora, because he was out there as well.
We just want to see Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't want to see Tyson Fury and Usyk, because we've seen him twice, and the outcome will be the same. We don't want to see it. Yeah. We don't want to see it. What is Tyson Fury going to do which is going to be different from the last 2 fights? Nothing. So we want to see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
It's just being teased today. That's all. I'm not.
No, we don't want to be teased. Don't tell me you're opening up a strip club around the corner from my house. No, I want you to open one. So what I'm trying to say to you is, we only want to see Tyson and AJ.
Yes, I mean, that's a bit rich, isn't it? Because everyone knew what they were going to see when they saw Derek Chisora fight Tyson Fury the second time. Right? But we don't want to see Tyson Fury fight Oleksandr Usyk, because nothing's going to change.
Absolutely. Listen, I think the fight that we all want to see, though, I think the fight that is missing from this heavyweight era is Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Let's hope we get that fight. That's the fight that I would like to see. Fury might have other ideas because he wants to go over old ground with Oleksandr Usyk. But the commercial fight, the fight that makes the most money right now, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, come on, that's what we need.
I think that's the fight they're both building towards, regardless of who they're fighting next. They both know that's the fight that the people want to see. They know that will be the pinnacle. That will be the fight where they both sail off into the sunset after. They know that's the last calling card, I
I'm on a
think.
big cash cow as well.
What about you, Simon? The trilogy? You got any interest in that? Would you rather see that over AJ?
Well, I don't know, because you're asking me in advance of what we see Oleksandr Usyk do against Daniel Dubois. So if Daniel Dubois goes in there and does a number on Oleksandr Usyk, which is, you know, a reach, but notwithstanding, we both think that there's a chance that Daniel Dubois can win this fight. And if Usyk is 3% off and Daniel Dubois is his best night, we think he can win this fight. Then that changes the dimensions, doesn't it?
No, totally. But I'm just saying, if Usyk comes through, that's you know, and it is a big if for us. But if he does come through, would you rather Fury Usyk or AJ Fury?
Despite the fact I think Tyson's been rude about me sometimes, I do like him as a fighter, and I did want him to win the fights against Usyk. And I don't agree with his assessment of them, but I also think that he's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think he's charismatic. I think he brought a lot to the heavyweight division. At times, some of the things he said I think were stupid, but I think a lot of the things he did were fantastic. I thought the trilogy with Deontay Wilder at times was marvellous. I think winning the belts against Klitschko and opening up the division for everybody back in 2015, which Anthony Joshua benefited 2 years later, was game-changing for British heavyweights. And I'd like to think, and he was talking about his health yesterday, and health is wealth, and we all know that, right? But there's a part of me that thinks, you're a fighting man. I'm a fighting man. Can't get out of a loss, can you?
Yeah.
Can't get out of a loss, can you? That can't sit well with you. And of course, you'll always have debates about his bipolarity and how much he needs boxing and how much it's going to be disadvantageous for him not to be fighting.
So what fight do you want to see? Fury Usyk or Fury AJ?
I would like to see Fury Dubois.
That's an interesting fight.
That's an interesting one. You threw me off track there a little bit, mate. But see, you would rather Fury Dubois than Fury AJ?
Well, it depends. I mean, I've been in the camp for a year and a half that AJ's done and said that as soon as someone lands one on him, he's going to have a problem. And you wouldn't have it, no one else would have it, and you used Jermaine Franklin, you used Robert Helenius, you used Otto Wallin, and you used Francis Ngannou. And I said to you, as much as I like Anthony Joshua, I think he's been a superstar for himself in certain aspects of the sport. If he gets a live one in there, I think he's going to get knocked out, which is what happened. So I don't want to see what happened to Deontay Wilder happening to Anthony Joshua because there's not much left. Now, I know they'll say there is, but you're asking me the question.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you the same question, Harlem.
Yeah.
What fight would you rather see, AJ Fury, or would you rather see Fury Usyk free?
AJ Fury. I think that's the fight. I think it's a better, well-matched fight because AJ is always better against bigger fighters. He's not good with small guys, which is one of the reasons I think Usyk was not right for him. Andy Ruiz wasn't right for him. He's better with tall, big men, and he always carries that power factor. But defensively, I think he'll be a lot better against someone like Tyson Fury than guy of a smaller stature like Usyk.
Well, we'll see. I'm going to ask you in a minute, Harlem, about the Usyk Dubois fight that's coming up. But before I ask you, David Hay was on talkSPORT last week. Listen to what David had to say.
Derek had the best fight against Usyk than anyone's had. It's because he closed the range and worked inside. If Dubois can really impose himself and don't get involved in a boxing match, he's got a shot. Usyk's had his last 4 fights, 2 fights against AJ, 2 fights, against Tyson Fury, hard fights that he won, weren't life and death, but I think in the training camp he had to have those 4 fights, the big guys he was sparring. I know it's like sparring big guys, it takes a lot out of you. Has he taken too much out of himself? He's never lost before, undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight, but at some stage it doesn't work anymore. I found that out. At some stage you can't do what you wanted to do. Nothing suggests he's that comes that close from his last fight. But when he's fighting a young, rough, tough Daniel Dubois with lots of confidence, who's been in there, knows what it's like, he's got a shot, he's got a massive shot, but how do you bet against someone who's never lost, who doesn't know what it's like to lose? But I think if there's ever a chance for Dubois to beat someone like Usyk, it's now with the momentum he's got.
Nice talkative David Hay there. Look, myself and Spencer have picked Dubois for this fight, and I don't know whether it's because we want it to be the case or we believe that ultimately Daniel's now got the tools, and obviously we've heard that when he fought Usyk first time, he was Daniel the boy, now he's Daniel the man, and we're pricing that all in. Where are you on the Usyk-Dubois fight?
I think Daniel, he's the type of fighter, he's got that belief. He's not scared of anything that's in front of him. And that is something that will hold you in good stead going into a fight against Usyk, because a lot of people that go into an Usyk fight, they're accounting for loads of different things. And I think with Usyk, you almost just need to have that belief to go at them with heavy hands, with weight advantage. I think that's one of the things that Derek Chisora, as he was saying, done well. He's kind of an old kind of school type of fighter. He's going to ride shots. He's going to use his weight. He's going to put pressure on in different ways. And I think if Daniel can do that and not stand off and have a technical exchange, then he has a solid chance in the fight.
Who are you picking him?
I think I have to pick Usyk because of the ability and what he's done in there with the heavyweights. But Daniel is has a very live chance in this fight, and I'm no doubt he's gonna put in a bigger and better display than last time.
Can I just ask you, Spence, before we finish this subject with Usyk Dubois? Daniel goes in with all the confidence in the world. The belief system is now in place. You know, he's dealt with Baby Miller, he's dealt with Filip Hrgovic, and he's obliterated Anthony Joshua, so he's full of it now, right?
Yeah.
And Don Charles has got him into a different mindset. If the fight starts going the way it went in the first fight, does Daniel get PTSD and start being taken into a place where he was taken in the first fight? Is there a danger of that happening to him?
Of course, there's always a danger of that, because I think that we can't answer that. I don't think Don Charles can answer that. Only Daniel can answer that, and that's if he gets in that moment. Yeah. But you just look at it and the momentum that this kid's got and the growth that he's had. When he boxed Dubois last time out, it was 2023. He was 25 years of age. He was still very much developing and learning. And I feel that winning them world titles and getting those victories over the people that you've just mentioned has added to him, and he's grown as a person, as a character, and that's making him physically and mentally better. And boxing is all about timing.
Yeah.
And you look at this right now and you go, Usyk hasn't improved since that last one. And I think that Daniel Dubois has. And you're just going off the back of that. And I think that's why we both see this as you go, this could be just the right timing. David Hayes summed it up beautifully there, because you go, it's difficult to go against Usyk, because we could be sitting here next month going, why did we ever think that he had a chance? Because it is like that. But something inside me tells me that the timing's perfect, and Don Charles and the team have done a great job of him. I see Daniel day to day, and he's improved massively.
Yeah, I see how far he's come from the Joyce fight, even how he's developed.
Yeah, I went to that,
They backed him, and he's developed incredibly since then, physically and mentally, I believe. Sure. And I don't think, on how far he's come now, I don't think you'll go back. I don't think the PTSD of the other moments you've had, I think you're a changed person from then, and I think he's done incredible to come full circle to this.
Yeah, well, he's the fighter. I remember I went to the Joe Joyce fight during COVID, and that's the fight you're referring to. And he's the fighter that people like Jeff Powell, he's the fighter now that people were writing about 4 years ago, saying, forget Fury, forget Joshua. This kid coming through Triple D is going to be one hell of a fighter. But I tell you what, it's going to be one hell of a fight on July 19th.